All right, welcome to another live stream for Farming Simulator, specifically Farming Simulator 22, in case that wasn't obvious. um, we are on our Elmcreek map again, and I'm saying that as much for myself as for you because I've been recording both of my other series in the last day or two. So I'm trying. I gotta when you're recording three series at the same time, you got to remember like exactly like what was I doing again? Where did I leave off? Um, So we have baled all of our fields, if I remember correctly. So we got all these bales sitting here, tons and tons of bales, lots. I mean, it's gonna be some really good money. And we need to hold on to this, let it get fermented, and wait until I think we said January. We got lots of bales there. We got lots of bales there. We got bales on the fields. We got bales galore. So that is basically where we're gonna start this thing off with. It's gonna pick up a bunch of these bales, get them situated for us. But before I get into that, I do want to say welcome if you are joining the live stream. Thank you for joining. Hey Stormy, how's it going? Also, if you're joining the or if you're watching the VOD after the fact, welcome to you as well. I mean, both audiences are important, and I appreciate both. But yeah, it's looking forward to having a good stream today. And like I said, I've been playing a lot of Farming Simulator lately, so bear with me as I'm getting my head straight on exactly where we left off. We'll get it all figured out. Definitely looking to make lots of money here. Hopefully make the switch to not grass very soon. Possibly even into the... Oh, that's right. We have those silage bales too. I remember those now. Man, we got silage bales everywhere. We're going to make a decent chunk of money, guys. It's going to take us a few trips, but we're going to make a decent chunk of money. Get all these picked up. Get them off to the side. I think... will we have one more mowing before winter? No, we won't. We shouldn't, right? I think this is our last mowing before winter. Need some more fuel for my tractor soon. Man, I cannot believe we are just a few days away from Christmas. Now, I don't think Christmas is celebrated quite the same way everywhere in the world. I mean, people, you always think about when you watch any movie about Santa Claus and stuff like that, about how he's traveling the world, delivering toys to kids all around the world. And I've talked to people in other parts of the world who are like, yeah, Christmas is just nothing to us. We don't, it's not bit, in fact, they're bigger about birthdays and New Year's, and Christmas is just not that big of a deal. And not everywhere is Christmas celebrated on the same day of the year. Things that I have learned in recent weeks. I have 3 FS series going right now, twice grass and one with the new root crops. Recipe for burnout. Yeah, I'm actually enjoying the root crops more than I expected. So I'm not super burned out with that one. This one, I think we're on the cusp of being off of the grass, and I don't want to spoil anything about the Valley Spring one, but things will be happening very soon. Let's just say that. Oh, wow. Have I seen them put them up there before? I might just... Why do I not remember it putting them up there before? I guess, did I update them? I must have updated the auto load mod, and it's... Yeah, I don't remember it having... I mean, obviously, if it had it up there before, we would have had them over there sitting off the side of the road. Unless I just didn't try? I don't think it was because I didn't try. Well, that'll help us stack them a little bit bigger. Make this trailer slightly more worth it. Assuming our tractor can actually pull it. What would this be? That's going to be 10 plus probably another 8, so 18. It's actually not that bad. The big trailer can run 24, so 18 is actually not too far off of that. I can live with that. And if we really wanted to, we could run the other trailer in tandem. If you've been watching the Valley Springs run, and it's been slow, I get it. I'm pretty sure things will speed up pretty soon. There will be a small gap in the videos. And by that, I just mean there's gonna be like a couple days. I'm gonna put that one on pause for like 2 days, literally 2 days. And, so I think there's gonna be 3 more episodes over the next couple days. And there'll be like a 2-day gap. I'm just gonna make sure I can't pick up anymore. I doubt I can. Oh, okay. There'll be like a 2-day gap and, or 2 episode gap or whatever. And then, there will be some new stuff coming January 1st for that series. It hopefully will make it a bit more interesting. I will say at some point I do need to get rid of one of the, I say at some point being, that's a very, very, generic statement, but at some point, I don't know if I can maintain 3 Farming Simulator series all the time. So I will drop one off at some point. I'll probably just have one that I'm recording and then one for the live stream. But, not yet. I'm still doing good. I don't remember where the upload is for Zelonka, but there are a few changes for Zelonka that are making that a lot more user friendly is probably the best way to say it, without necessarily breaking the game. So I can't remember if that's already live. If not, you will see it here in the next episode or 2. And it'll make sense once you see it. It's not. I'm not trying to spoil anything. It's not like it's that big of a deal. It's just a way to make it a little bit more user friendly so that I don't go crazy myself. There are a lot of bales on here. I mean, I know I said that earlier, but as I'm looking out on this field, that's a lot of bales. Yeah, it is definitely. I'm not speeding it up, barely speeding up in any unnatural way. In fact, it's not necessarily speeding up at all. I'll be honest. I'm not changing the pacing of it. I am just changed. I don't want to like give anything away, but it will. We have a bit more of a goal and a target now. That's all I'm going to say. So it should be more focused. That's probably the best way to say that. There we go. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Focused. Although I will say it does deviate from the plan momentarily. So if you watch today, today was a normal episode. Today's Wednesday, Thursday. Friday's episode will be a hint of deviation. And then next Monday's episode will be full deviation for just a moment until we get everything back on track. And I know I'm being very vague, but you'll understand once you watch it. I got a little bit frustrated with something and went down a different path, and it all makes sense once you see it. Guess I'll put some over here too. Doesn't really matter where I store them. Well, they just got to be somewhere. Cool. Good number of bales. And how many bales is this? Like that right there is 18. I mean, we've got 150 bales easy, right? Like more than that. Like we might have 200 bales. I don't know. Especially if you count the square bales. We've got a lot of bales. I think we might be done with grass, guys. At least done with full-time grass. I mean, we're still going to do grass like a little bit just to supplement like silage and things, I think. But we're about to get a stupid amount of money, I think. In fact, if I'm super convinced that we're about to have a good amount of money from the grass, oh, you know what? I do actually have a mod, don't I, that tells me the stock? I do. So we have 644,000 liters if this is correct. Which puts us at 120,000 bucks. That's not bad. Not bad. Trying to think of how many bales that is. It's just over 100 bales, I believe. For some reason, that feels like we have more than that. I feel like we've got more than that for some reason. Oh, you know what it is? We do have more than that. I forgot I'm not counting the grass. That's not silage yet. We've got almost 1 million liters of combined, I believe. Pretty close to it. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, wait a minute. Something's not mathing out right. Because I know I've already counted more than that just visually. Wait, why are you not wanting... Wait a minute. Are you... I'm confused. Really? There we go. It's just being... Sometimes it does that every once in a while with the autoload mod. It just decides, you know what? I don't feel like loading anymore. And then you have to unhook it, hook it back up, and then it works. Also like the fact that our trailer's technically sliding a little bit on us while we're sitting here. Oh, I need to get water. That's what I was going to get last time before I ended the stream. I need to get water for our greenhouses. In fact, I think I was going to do that between streams, just knock that out real quick, but that's all right. I forgot, and we will get it done here in a moment. Do want to buy this field, obviously, but not quite yet. Oh, thanks, Michael. Sorry, Mitchell. Sorry, my brain. That was my eyes. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. All right, that's the last bale right here. Get this off the field. When can we plant? And what crop do we actually want to plant first? Probably a grain crop so we can have chickens. Chickens are good. Eggs are good. They sell for a good amount of money. And so that's what? April? May? Something like that? No, I'm sorry. I got it backwards. The grain crops plant now and harvest in the early part. So those are flip-flopped. So we could actually go ahead and plant some wheat or barley right now, if we so choose. I suddenly don't remember which one is better for chickens. I think the wheat gives you more volume, and all the chickens care about is volume. They don't care about like what it is. So I suddenly don't remember though. I think it's wheat. Actually, I could just check the prices, because the prices should be about more or less the same as far as... Yeah, so the one that sells for the least would be the one that has the most volume. Which by this looks like it might be barley ever so slightly. Yeah, so wheat has lower. Yep, so exactly. Yep, I was going to say, based on the prices here. And then sorghum is the most expensive, which means it gives you the most volume total. So, because they usually try to keep the grains basically the same, you know, that you're going to make approximately the same amount of money for a field of wheat, barley, or sorghum. Now, the one thing about wheat or barley is that we can get straw, but we don't really need the straw yet. We will at some point, but it's kind of too early for us to care about straw. So we can plan for those down the road. Now, the only reason the sorghum probably is better, but the sorghum we can't plant right now, right? Sorghum we can only plant in April or May. So if we want to get chickens going now, like as soon as possible, although I guess if we wait until April to plant sorghum, we can harvest in August. It's only a month later than wheat, 2 months later than barley. So that's actually not that much of a delay on chickens and gives a good volume. So we might just do that because sorghum obviously has a very, very good turnaround. And it does also mean we can keep grass on the field for at least one more mowing before we do the sorghum. So that's probably okay. I mean, in fact, I think with the very first Elmcreek run, I was rotating grass and sorghum throughout the year. I'm not going to do that because that's a lot of extra work, and I don't think we need to do that extra work just to get a cycle of grass in between. But we will, I think we will at least wait for now. Should be able to get one more mowing of everything before we go to the sorghum. And sorghum's probably just going to be on this field for starters. These two fields. We probably keep these two grass, and I'm probably going to put the chickens right here on 44. Just because, I mean, 44 just exists, and it's just, I'd rather, that's a nice place for a building, quite frankly. It's just a really nice place for a building. Or two. I think I had the cows on there the first time around. All right, so that's all that. We do really desperately need lime. Okay, I need to get the lime, and the reason I need to get the lime is because if I get these limed and mowed one more time, we'll get credit for the lime. And if we get credit for the lime, then our precision farming will get at a much higher percentage, which would be really, really good for us. But we can't afford that, can we? What is it, 70,000, something stupid like that? No, it's cheaper. I'm sorry. We can't afford that. Okay, let me think. The math. If we buy this, and then, I mean, the lime, I'm not going to worry about the price of the lime. Yes, it costs money, but I'm mostly just thinking if we can afford the trailer. 45,000 bucks for that. We're going to get an extra probably 10% once it's all said and done on top of all of our silage, which is about 20,000 bucks. It'll pay for half of it. It's not bad. It'll pay for half of the lime. Almost half of it. Not quite half, but close. Let's say a third once you actually add in the lime cost. That's not terrible. But anything on the used market? Not right now. Do I want to do that or not? And also, I'm also not counting the one more mowing we would have anyway, which would be a little bit more volume, which would affect the price as well. I think we've got to get it done. We've got to get the pH down, or the pH on there. Because we're about to sell so much silage. Getting that max precision farming boost would be ideal. Now the tillage. I think we're just gonna have to ignore that for now until we start actually seeding. All right, let's do it. We got to get this done. I really probably should have just grabbed a mod that allows me to do it with one of these guys, because there's no reason this can't do it if this can do it, right? There's literally no reason. Functionally, they're identical functionally, but I forgot, so we'll just go with this. I don't care about the extensions or anything like that right now. We can add those in at some point in the future. So let's go. Even no delay since you've not in the second month. Oh, that's true. You're a good point, Stormy. Hey, Janik. Hello from Belgium. How are you today? Or is that is it Janik or Jan? Probably Yannick, right? If you're Belgian. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I apologize. I'm not trying to. I promise I'm not trying to abuse your name. I'm just trying to remember how to say names from other countries. Let's go get our thing. I probably should get some fuel on the way. We're about to run out of gas. We're not really going to get the precision farming maxed out until we really start doing actual crops. We'll be able to do direct seeding, direct drill seeding, and which will handle the tillage, and then we'll be able to do weed spraying, which will handle the weeds. So once we actually get the grain down, that'll definitely max out our stuff pretty easily. Oh, I appreciate that. Now, I know in I'm going to, if I say something wrong, please correct me. I'm not trying to be incorrect, but my understanding is that Belgium is, maybe not half, but like part French speaking and part German speaking, or kind of somewhere, something like that, right? There's a lot of French speaking, there's a lot of German speaking. There might even be something that's somewhere in the middle. I took German in high school and college, so I do know German. Well, I say no German. I should rephrase that. I learned German years ago. Obviously, I have not practiced with German in many, many years, so I've forgotten just about everything I learned. But I could probably read German, because I could probably still do the pronunciations correctly if I know that, you know, that I'm reading German, but I wouldn't know the grammar. There's no way I would know the grammar anymore. Just don't use it at all. Yeah, that makes it. German's okay. Yeah, I knew there's a little bit of German somewhere there. I knew it kind of existed, and it makes sense for Dutch and French. I mean, you're just kind of in the middle of all three of those places, so it makes sense that you'd have a little bit of spillage of all three of those countries. That would make sense. I have been to Belgium. I enjoyed it, actually, quite a bit. I've also been to, I mean, I've been to France, been to Belgium, been to, I've been in Rotterdam, was the only place. I didn't go to Amsterdam. I did go to Rotterdam, though. Went to Luxembourg. Went to Germany, of course. Austria, Italy, Switzerland. Lots of places. I went all over. I didn't go to Spain. We didn't make it to Spain, me and my friend. We backpacked around Europe for a few weeks right after high school. So, that was a lot of fun. I think it was about 3 weeks that we backpacked around. We just took the Eurail, and just basically traveled wherever we wanted to travel on the train. We had a tent in case we wanted to camp, but most of the time we slept on the train. We would just pick a place either 8 hours away from where we started, you know, 7, 8 hours away, so we could just sleep on the train. Or if we wanted to stay where we were at, we would get on the train, travel 4 hours away, you know, approximately 3.5, 4 hours away, sleep there, wake up, get off the train, and then catch the next train coming right back to the same city. And there we go. We slept a total of 8 hours or so ish, you know, and we're able to wake up basically right where we started. So that was a lot of fun. Germany, we went to Munich. We went to Köln. That one I have trouble saying. Despite the fact that I learned German, I have trouble saying Köln, or I guess Cologne is how we would say it in English, but, you know, whatever. I did go to, we got to see, I forgot where I was going with this trailer. We got to go to Neuschwanstein, castle. Obviously, that was really awesome to see that. We got to see the is it the cathedral in Köln, whatever. That's one of the tallest in Europe, or the tallest in the world, or something like that. I think we saw that, if I remember correctly. And if I'm getting something wrong, it's just because it's been many years and I'm forgetting all the details. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to get my worker going because, oh, you know what? I forgot this is not the, I don't have the extra spreading width on this like I usually do. So let me get you a little bit over to the edge. Yeah, no, Germany was awesome. We didn't go to Berlin or anything like that. It was a little further east than we were planning on traveling because we wanted to circle back around to Italy for sure. And Switzerland. Switzerland was cool. I enjoyed Switzerland, but I also like the mountains and stuff. So I'm kind of biased there. Where in... Oh, you asked about Belgium first. Where in Belgium? I'd have to look at the map, I'll be honest. I could probably find the train route that we took from Paris, you know, through Belgium and stuff like that. You're from Australia, so you're just speaking swear words. That's funny. Kelowna. Yeah, I don't know why my brain doesn't parse that quite right. Like, I know how to say the O with umlauts, but my brain can't parse that one word. Like, that's the one word. I'm actually normally, like, at least I was, you know, years ago when I was in German. I might not have learned much, but I was pretty good at least pronunciation. But that one word is the one word I can't, my brain just does not know how to process for some reason. It's so weird. I think Munich, I vaguely remember Munich having, or was it München or something like that? Anyway, Munich had, they have got like a really big train station or something like that, right? Am I remembering that one right? I'm going to date you guys know how old I am. If you've watched the YouTube channel very long, you know how old I am. So I guess I'll just admit it. This was 20 years ago, guys. Like 20, what was it? 2001. So 22 years ago. I think is when I traveled Europe. So the good thing about Europe is that from an architectural standpoint and art and all that kind of stuff, not a lot's changed in 22 years because obviously all the architecture is like hundreds of years old. So it's not that big of a deal, but there's a lot that has changed in 22 years. But no, it was awesome. I love that trip. I want to go back so bad. I can't believe it's been 20 years since I've, 22, like I said. Over 20 years since I've been. I wish I had gone back sooner than now, and someday I will. Paris was awesome. I loved Paris. That was pretty cool. I mean, Paris wasn't my favorite, but there were parts of Paris that were very, very memorable. We did go to Normandy. Just, I'm an American, so why not? So we got to see that. That was pretty cool. What else did we do? We did stay in a youth hostel once. That was in Austria. Just to say that we did. But every other time, like I said, we either camped in a tent or we slept on the train. No trains for 3 days? Wow, that's crazy. I do remember being on a train like early in the morning. So there was obviously people on there that were on their way to work, right? Because obviously, the trains are for Europeans, not for tourists necessarily. So there's obviously people there actually traveling the train for legit reasons. And so there was a bunch of Germans there, that were traveling, and something happened with the train. Like it got stuck for like an hour, something crazy like that. And so they started talking in German, with each other. And then me and my buddy, we started laughing, and they thought we were laughing because they said like a key word, but they didn't understand that. We didn't feel comfortable enough to like speak it back to them, but we understood a lot of what they were saying, and it was pretty funny. I will say this though. There were a lot of English speaking people when we traveled around. That was more English speaking people than I expected when we traveled around. Which I don't know why I should be surprised by that, but it surprised me that especially the younger kids. Again, I'm fresh out of high school, so I mean I'm 19 years old, 18, 19, whatever I was at the time. And so, we met a bunch of other kids of that age group, and pretty much all of them spoke English. So that was it made it easier. That was cool. It is difficult to explain. You're right. Gotta go get some more lime real quick. I guess I could have dropped the rest of this off on the field and then got more, but oh well. Right now I am learning Ukrainian. That's the language that I'm learning right now. And that's because I wanted to learn, you know, I've always wanted to learn a language that doesn't use English characters, right? Or I say English. They're not English characters. Obviously, English was not the first language to use, you know, those types of characters. But, you know, the traditional characters that I'm used to. Like, I know how to, you know, I can read Spanish. I can read German. I could probably read French and Italian with some level of success because, I mean, I understand what the letters mean, right? But learning a language that has completely different characters is something I've always wanted to do. And I decided to go with Ukrainian for varying reasons. That's crazy that many can speak English. I mean, the funny thing about that is obviously UK is not in the EU anymore, and obviously I guess you're speaking it because, you know, English is very widely spoken, you know, here in the United States, and, you know, for things like that, you know, what do they say? English and Chinese for like commerce and stuff like that. Those are like your two languages, but it's just interesting to me. Truth be told, when I hear about how many people in Europe speak English in those countries like that, it just makes me reminds me about how dumb, quite frankly, us Americans are. Because most of us only speak one language, and the fact that there's so many people in other countries that just naturally can speak English and therefore their native language just makes me feel kind of stupid, quite frankly. Yeah, I have not tried writing Cyrillic. I can read it. I can actually read it pretty well. I feel like I can pronounce it pretty well, and obviously I could type it out on the keyboard at this point, but I cannot, there's no way. I haven't tried writing it, to be perfectly honest. Although, to be fair, handwriting is starting to become a thing of the past at some level. I mean, you still got to know it. You still probably need to be familiar with it, but it's becoming I mean, how many things do we have now that just, like, you don't need the handwriting anymore. It's just not a thing. Japanese is a good one. Yeah, that would be a good one to try. I wish I was better at learning foreign languages because I think I like other cultures. I like learning about other cultures, history, and just kind of people and places and all sorts of stuff. I love all that kind of stuff. And I would love to like know more about the languages and areas around those places as well. But it's languages can be challenging. You can speak 3 languages too. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Like, that's just, I don't know. It just, we don't have that here in the United States unless your family is from another country, right? And so, like, you know, your parents came over or whatever, your grandparents, and they speak it at home. So obviously you learn English in school, and then you speak whatever language your family brought over from wherever they're from, you know. That's common. That happens for sure. But even that, after you go through a few generations, that even starts to disappear a bit, quite frankly. We just don't. I mean, we do have languages in schools, and I think they're doing more of it now than they did when I was younger. But it's still just not the same. I mean, it's not taught at a level of super proficiency like it should be, I feel like. But I think part of the problem is that what language would we learn, you know? I mean, the most likely one, at least where I used to live in Texas, was Spanish. I mean, that just made sense. Learning Spanish just was a logical choice. The reason I learned German is because where I lived in Texas, there was a lot of German-speaking places around. I did this poorly. I'm very bad at putting this lime down. Good thing about lime is it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect to get the credit. Although I'm going to waste a bunch on this little strip here because it's going to bug me if I don't at least do this little strip. I just realized we are not getting credit on the... I bet we have to buy our soil information, don't we? No, we don't. Why is it showing up that color? I mean, I get that there's loam there, but... Or not so loam, silty clay there, I guess. But the coloring shouldn't be that color. Should it? I don't think so. A little confused why the coloring is... Was it already high enough or something? We're not getting credit. Why? It doesn't say that it's out of date. Right? It would be black if it was out of date. I'm very confused why we're not getting credit for this. We literally just put all this down right here and it is not counting. Okay, I'm very confused. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Different question. What time do I have right now? I have 7:36 p.m. for me. I have English as a native language, sort of a handicap when it comes to learning languages. We've got to learn if we want to consume majority of online. Yeah, that's true. Online content and movies, that is very much in English. Hey, thanks, Master37, for the membership. I appreciate that very much. Why is this? I mean, I get that we're almost out of date here. Maybe I just need to go through and just buy it again. That's probably exactly what I need to do, which is unfortunate. I guess. I don't really like spending money for nothing, but I'm very confused. I'm gonna go run this over that again one more time just to make sure it's not like that wasn't all it was. 3:37 a.m. Okay. So that is a 8-hour difference. No, we're not getting credit. I'm a bit confused. I know it's not because it's grass. I've put lime on grass before. It's 12:40 where you are, Mastian. Okay, cool. 12:40. Where would that be? That would be middle of the day. Oh, you said you're in Australia. That's right. That's right. You said that earlier. I believe that's what you said earlier. Well, welcome. I appreciate it. Wow, we've got a whole worldwide audience here. That's crazy. Crazy in a good way. It's awesome. You're leading a math practice at the uni tomorrow, and you're up at 3:37 a.m. I'm sorry, guys. I know. I appreciate that you're watching. I really do. But, you know, I'm sorry that it's so early. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. I guess the best thing I could do to change would be to do like a Saturday morning stream or something like that, so some of you guys could catch that or something of that nature. I will be honest though, part of the reason why I don't do certain times is because I think I've mentioned before, and I think some of you guys have, or definitely on my Civilization stream, have mentioned that I watch Quill18. He's the reason I got into streaming in the first place. So if you're not familiar with him, you can Google him, but you know, you can look him up on YouTube. But he does a lot of strategy games and stuff, and he always streams Saturday morning. So I try not to stream at times that he's going to be streaming. Not so much that because I watch him as much as I used to, but you know, he's going to have a similar audience to what I'm trying to get. 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. power naps. Please tell me you're not just taking 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. power naps just so you could watch me, because I'm going to feel, I don't know, that's a lot of pressure. I'll be honest. I hope you're doing it for another reason. I just happen to be one of the things that you watch around this time of the night. I don't understand why this didn't spray. Like, we're fine here. This is working. That's going to bug me. It really is. Oh, well. I mean, I don't think there's much I can do about it. I tried, I say spray, but you know what I mean, spread. I tried going back over it and it didn't work. You're the one sitting at the front to answer questions, not learning. That's good. I like it. My company actually has an office in the Netherlands, which technically I have an open invitation that if I ever wanted to travel to the Netherlands, even for a holiday, if I wanted to combine that with a few days of work so that I don't have to, use up too many of my holiday days, I could work from the office there in the Netherlands, which would be kind of cool. Of course, I say use up my work days. My work is a special place in the sense that we have unlimited work days, or PTO days, I mean. So we have unlimited time off. Obviously, big giant asterisk to that would be, I can't go take 6 months off and expect that to be okay. But, there's not like an actual number assigned to how many days off I have. If I want to take 3 weeks off because I need some mental health days or something like that, I can take 3 weeks off. If I want to take a day randomly in the middle of nowhere, I can take a day. It doesn't matter. All right, you're going to miss this, aren't you? Let's do the edge here a little bit. To get a little bit more lime. If I had spread the bit that I had in the trailer before I went and refilled, I would not have to go refill again. That was a mistake. That's all right. I was distracted. Unlimited work days is... I think... Have we talked about this before? I know I've talked about this on one of the streams. I don't remember which one. It's a sneaky way for a company to save a lot of money. And don't get me wrong. It is nice. It is nice to not have to worry about how many days I have. But the reason it's sneaky is because if I were to leave the company, they don't have to pay out any work days that I have, PTO days, for one. And for two, most people, when they don't have assigned PTO days, tend to take less PTO days than they would if they had them assigned. If I have 15 PTO days that I know are going to expire at the end of the year or whatever, well, then I'm going to find a way to take 15 PTO days. But if I have unlimited, I'm just never going to take them because they're always there and there's not like a pressure or a sense of pressure to use them. So it's a really weird, sneaky way to like actually save the company a significant amount of money, but for good reasons. I think our company did it for a good reason though. My company's very good about making really doing good things for the employees. That's the one thing they're really good at. So I don't think they were in... I think that was just a side benefit that made it easy for them to make that decision. I don't think they made the decision just to save money. Oh, I'm sitting here distracted and I forget where I'm going. Oh yeah, there it is. One thing I will say about Python, at least at my company, there's a lot of like QA automation that is developed in Python and things like that. So if you want to get into that side of development, QA test automation, that could be useful. If you want to get into like, it really depends on what kind of development you want to get into someday, if that is what your goal is. If you want to get into like web development, the one word I would give you, at least in reference to, my company and the companies that I've looked at, because, I mean, I'm a human being. I've looked around a little bit, even if I am happy with my company. React. React is something to look at because that is very popular right now in a lot of companies. I would also say, if you really want to make some good money in the world of software development, anything security related is probably going to be a good place to be, because security is going to basically always be needed. And I'm personally not interested in security, the security side of things, other than making my own code secure. I don't care. Like, I'm not into that kind of world, but people that can do that kind of, you know, that kind of stuff they're always going to have value for sure. If you still want to enjoy life, I like that statement. That's funny. I personally never learned C. I learned C++. Obviously, there are similarities for reasons, but I used to do programming on my graphing calculator back in the day. My old TI 86 or whatever it was. I used to make video games on that. That was a lot of fun. I need to make a video game. Someday, you guys are going to see a YouTube series of me learning how to make a video game again. And I really do say learning, because obviously, being out of practice for as long as I have, I may know basic concepts, but I do not know, like, I would not be able to sit down with Unity or, you know, any of the engines right now and actually be successful. I mean, it wouldn't take me long to be successful, because again, I do understand most of the concepts, but the syntax and things like that, I probably don't know that much. But I want to. I need to get down and figure it out someday. It doesn't even have to be anything complex. I can just start with something simple and stupid. And that's the fun about programming, is that even the simple, stupid ones teach you something. I can make a stupid little Tetris game, you know, about as simple as a concept as you can get. And the things that I learned about how to make a menu, how to make the controls work, how to make the audio work, those are immediately transportable over to something more complicated. I mean, that's the cool thing. Programming is a lot about building up layers and building up building blocks, right? Start with something simple, and then, all right, you got your simple thing to work. Now add to it. Cool. Now you got that to work. Now add to it. You know, and that's just a lot of iteration over and over again, which is really cool. All right, Lime is down. Unfortunately, we're not getting credit for it everywhere, which is weird, but I don't know what to do. We'll just accept it, and we'll let this stuff grow one cycle. We'll get it. We can technically fertilize now, but I like to let it grow a cycle just to kind of whatever. We'll get it, let it grow, and then we will fertilize and go from there. So I think the plan will be to plant sorghum in April, which means we won't be able to get the chickens until August, unfortunately, but that's okay. We can make that work. Oh, water. Whew, I almost forgot the water. Oh. It's on the other side. Currently developing a game in Godot, or however you want to say that. Open source game engine. GG script for the code. It's an odd mix of Python and JavaScript, but surely has some weird aspects, but I'm enjoying it. That's pretty cool. I need to try out some of those for sure. The other thing that I want to do is I want to get my kids into programming at an earlier age than I got into it. So I need to get kind of start sitting down with them and teaching them things like that soon, hopefully. Oh, that's pretty cool. Rubik's Cube based puzzle platform. I mean, puzzle games are awesome. Puzzle games are simple in one side, but still has the ability to be complex, right? Like, I know it sounds weird to say that, but puzzle games can just be, you don't have to have a lot of flash, and a lot of flair for a puzzle game. It can be very basic and still, like, be challenging and all that kind of stuff, which is really awesome. Puzzle games are a good place to start if you want to get into video game design, for sure. They're just, I guess, there's not a lot of moving parts, but a lot of complexity and making sure, you get the puzzle right and kind of designing the levels and things like that. You still get all the basics of how to actually do a video game. I mean, for that matter, puzzle games are some of the most popular cell phone games out there. If you want to go make a little bit of money, go make a good puzzle game that 1 million people decide to pay $1 for. You'd think I could just take the tops off of all these water things and just let the rainwater fill in? I'm just saying. I mean, it is. I'm literally dropping water off as it's raining around me. I mean, that's the important, and that's the fun about coding for me, is learning something new. Problem solving, figuring how to do a certain thing. It is quite cool. I need to get back into it. Man, I really do. I've got to find some time for that. My problem is, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and you guys can let me know. You can correct my thinking. My problem is that if I sat down to try to program a video game right now, I kind of want to record it. But at the same time, I'm afraid if I record it, I'm just going to look like a fool. I'll be honest with you. And you're going to be like, this guy's a senior software engineer somewhere? What? He doesn't look like he knows how to program anything. That's how I'm going to feel, because I don't know. When you're doing something like that in front of people, there's a lot of people out there that know about that particular subject. And they're gonna correct everything you do wrong. And that's very makes me very nervous, I would say. But I guess the best thing I could say is, like I said, I talked about Quill 18. I watched him, and he has a programming. Well, he hasn't touched it in a while, but he does have a programming channel where he's put up some tutorials and things like that. And come to find out, there's some guys who are actually releasing published games who started game programming by watching his videos on how to program, which is pretty awesome. That's got to feel good. Because he mentioned that on one of his live streams recently. That's got to feel good. If I can teach somebody how to do something and they go make that successful, that's pretty awesome. The full 3D, fully rotational cube where instead of the stickers you have fields with trees, rocks, etc. Anything but simple to understand how it all works. Oh, I got you. Yep. Why is it not dropping off? Are these full? That one's full. These are not. There we go. Why are you going away? Stop minimizing. That was weird. I'm like literally just touching the controllers. It did that the other day too. And it only does it for this game, I think, where it just randomly decides, you know what? I don't feel like being full screen right now. Not sure what it is. It's all right. Oh. Have you learned how to not drive into a tree? Because I'm reading chat. Oh my, what did I just do? I am very stuck right now. There we go. I'm sitting here watching chat and look up and I'm in the middle of a tree. You've learned a lot of stuff from my FS videos. I mean, I guess. Like Civilization. I could teach somebody how to play Civilization, I think. And I could probably... Well, I don't know if I could... I think there's a lot of guys on YouTube that know more about Farming Simulator than I do. I will say that. I mean, I've put a lot of hours in, but there's still things that I just don't understand completely. But that's kind of not the point. The whole point is just to have fun, so I guess that's okay. But yeah, Civilization I think is a game that I could definitely teach, because I think I know a lot more about that game than most games that I play. I know more coding than I give myself credit for, but I've always said that I'm a better problem solver than a coder. I could solve a problem. I might not code quite the way you think. Oh, and also here's the thing for me, and this, I have to, it's not so great for my job, but when I'm coding on my own for fun, my coding comes out as stream of thought. It's literally just stream of thought. There is no rhyme or reason to my coding when I'm just coding for fun. And it is so like, I mean, I always go back and refactor things and like, okay, I got this. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I just did the same thing twice. Let me refactor that. I need to use that again. Let me put that into to an actual function and things like that. All right, let me wrap a class around this. I mean, sometimes I'll think a little bit, class first, but it's just always stream of thought. I don't know why. It's like I code while I'm brainstorming at the same time, which may not be the best way to do it. But that's fair. Learning along with somebody who's making mistakes, and kind of learning how it goes as well, is probably more enjoyable than just watching somebody dryly tell you exactly what to do at all times, right? I think that's fair. Plus, you've been able to participate in some of the experimentation. Even in this live stream that we've been doing, we've tried out the production stuff and we've learned how to do that together, and I think that's a lot of fun. Just like, I don't know how this is supposed to work. Let's find out. Let's try it. All right, so that's how that works. Cool. Now we know, and I think that's pretty cool. And yes, you're right. They have invented refactoring for a reason. That is fair. That is very fair. I need to get back into video game coding. I really do. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. It's been too long. It has been so long since I've touched anything like that, and I want to get back into it so badly right now. Just need to come up with a good idea. Doesn't have to be. I just want to come up with something simple, some good, simple idea that I can kind of play around with. There's so many good ideas out there. Just when you think that all the good ideas have been come up with, somebody else comes up with a game that's just like, oh my, that is so unique and so awesome. And it's just, there is no end. There's no such thing as the end of all the good ideas. It's just, you just got to think about it a little bit differently, and it's pretty cool. I have been coding some stuff for my... I don't remember if I've mentioned this before. It's okay. I don't mind. I play World of Warcraft. I think I have mentioned that before. I have been playing World of Warcraft for, I guess, 20 some odd years, however long it's been out, basically. It's my Saturday morning, Sunday morning, get together with some friends and just do stuff game, So I still play that a lot. And I recently coded a web scraper, basically, that scrapes data off of a website that people use for World of Warcraft to give information for my guild and stuff like that. Specifically around gearing and things like that, It's I don't know, it's just fun kind of learning new things like that. I had to learn how to load up a Chrome, not the actual browser, but like the Chrome what am I trying to say? I'm going to say the wrong thing because my brain is just blank all of a sudden. But basically, I have to it's like a hidden Chrome tab basically that loads up the page and is allowed to allows you to scrape the page for the information that I need off of it, and then parse that into a Excel file so that we have all the data that we need. Simple. It's relatively simple, but it's just fun playing around with stuff like that. Something new that I haven't really done. I don't know why I got into computers and programming. It's hard to say. It's not like I ever really enjoyed programming part itself. It's just that programming and computers has always just made sense to me, I guess. Like I can look at it and just be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You know, I don't know why. Like you can give me any program and give me enough time to play around with it and try it out. I could figure out just about any software just I feel like out there because it just at some point starts to make sense. I've always loved computers though. And I used to buddy up with all my teachers because I didn't have a computer at home. My family just couldn't afford a computer for forever. And so I would buddy up with all my teachers and they would just let me like stay after school and be like, all right, you can stay in my office, just lock up when you're done. And I would literally be the only person in the school sitting in my teacher's office playing computer games on their computer and stuff like that. And as long as I locked up when I was done, that's all they cared about. It was just, I don't know. I was always the guy that had all the admin passwords for the computer lab because the computer lab teacher, you know, trusted me to do all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, computers have just always been kind of a thing I enjoyed for some reason. And video games. I'm sure I play too many video games. That's probably possible, but video games are a great world to escape to just have some fun doing something that I probably couldn't do in real life. I mean, could I be a farmer in real life? Of course I could be a farmer in real life if I, put my mind to it and figured it out. But it's so easy to be a farmer today, and then tomorrow I can go fly an airplane. And then the next day I can go conquer, the world and civilization or whatever. I mean, video games give you so many, it's just so much. It's just, I don't know. I love them. I love video games a lot. I think you got to be careful though. I mean, I will admit that it's very easy to get sucked into video games to the point where you are no longer social and no longer, quite frankly, functioning. I mean, I have been there before. I mean, it's been a long time, thankfully, but I have been there before where I was basically non-functioning outside of a video game, which is not a healthy place to be. But if you just, play video games in your off time and stuff like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a lot of fun. It's like reading books. I also like reading books. I like watching movies. I like that escape and travel to a place that kind of captures your attention for X amount of time. It's always fun. I don't know. And it's not because the real life is like bad or boring or anything like that. I love my life. It's just I also like to escape. It's a bit of both. A healthy balance of both, I think. Thankfully, this water will last us a little while. That's a good way to learn how to code, is learn how to cheat something, That's always funny. How much do we got now? We're basically filled up. I'm going to go get another load now. We are done enough. Okay. Let's drop you off there. Now we can fast forward. Yep. Looks good. All right. So we got the grass going. We can fertilize, which we should do. So I guess I'll get that going first. Pretty sure this grass won't be ready until February, March, something like that. Which again, what was our date? For sorghum? April. So that should work. She'll get one more mowing on all the grass, and then we will get to then we'll get to plant the sorghum and start our next step, which will be good. I think we'll have time to do that today. I hope we do. It'd be nice to get our chickens down for today and get our next thing that starts making us a little bit of money. Actually, chickens make a pretty good chunk of money for how much you put into them. Games are a good way to escape stress and figure out some things in real life. And also scream at the screen like a lunatic. Yes, that sounds about right. I will admit, I might have slammed my hands on the table a few times, on the desk a few times, playing like Football Manager and things like that, where, you know, the other team scores a ridiculous goal and you're just like, what? You're just frustrated. Thankfully, I do not break keyboards. I'm not like, I don't get that angry, but definitely the frustration. And if the frustration didn't exist, it almost wouldn't be fun to play in the first place. You got to have a little bit of that ups and downs for it to be part of the fun. Yeah, video games are they're something. Let me get the edge end here. Games can also be very educational. I mean, civilization itself is obviously not historically accurate, but I have many times found something in civilization that I then went up and looked and researched because I was curious about it, you know? So that's always been fun. Just find some subject that you discover and you're like, hey, what is that? What does that mean? Who is this person? Things like that. We don't get credit for the lime yet, do we? I don't think so. I think that's when we mow. Yep. I still understand this bit in the middle. It makes no sense. No sense at all, but that's all right. We are after a full day of work, sitting in tractors and working the fields. Yeah, for sure, which is funny. Oh, it's so funny. That I'm literally spending my off time doing what my grandfather used to do for a living. It's just like, okay, this is a game. It's people's jobs is a game now. I mean, where's Garbage Man Simulator? Where's where's any of those? There probably is a garbage simulator somewhere. I mean, they've got truck simulators and train simulators and bus simulators and every other simulator. Why not a garbage simulator? Garbage Man. I mean, they've even got games about teachers, right? Schools and stuff. Was it 2 Point School or 2 Point Hospital? I think they made both, right? They made a 2 Point Hospital and a 2 Point School, something like that. I may be misremembering, but things like that. I mean, it's just funny. It's awesome. Funny in a good way. Funny in a kind of a cool way. All right, my worker's just being silly on this particular field. Let me just finish it up for you, my friend. It's quite dark here at 8:05 in the morning in November. I should not laugh at that. I'm sorry, but I laughed at that. I am not a Fortnite player. I will admit. I'm not any of those types of game player. I'll be honest. I mean, I have played first person shooter type games in the past, which I guess Fortnite's not really, but you know what I mean. It's along the lines. I've played games like that in the past, but I used to hate people that cheated. I hate cheaters. Cheaters drive me up the wall in games like that, and so I just stopped playing them. I just can't handle people that were obviously cheating and things like that. Oh, thanks, Yannick. Yannick, I said it right there earlier, and now I'm suddenly panicking. I think it's Yannick. Thank you for joining. Definitely get some sleep, and yeah, watch the VOD after the fact. It'll all be up there, and you can watch that. There's a game called Recycle. That makes sense. There you go. I know there's a house flipper, right? Where you can go clean up garbage in a house and flip the house. That exists. That's funny. Hmm. Pretty much anything that you could think of. There's probably something out there for it. Which is awesome, I guess. I'm actually going to fast forward a little bit. It's quite dark. Let's get towards not so dark. It is hard for my eyes when I have light shining on my face. There we go. A little bit better. There's a... What does a chair simulator do? I don't understand. A chair simulator? I mean, there's some ridiculous video games out there. I'm not going to get into the world of some of the really ridiculous ones, but pretty much anything you could think of exists somewhere. I'm sure even plenty of the unsavory things. Chair simulator. I don't understand. Okay, look, I have played the cookie clicker game, right? The cookie clicker game has no purpose, right? Like, it's just you click cookies and then you get things that auto collect cookies, and then you just sit there and cookies just happen. And obviously any game like that. I've played several of those types of games where you're just literally staring at a screen watching numbers go up, and like there's literally minimal interaction, and yet somehow it's still a video game. And yet I've also, like I said, personally played plenty of those. Clicker Hero and things like that. Actually, I'm embarrassed to say that Clicker Hero is probably one of the top games on my Steam hours. But that's also partly because you just kind of let it run in the background and go do other things. So it's not really true hours. Really? You're going to stop here? I love the AI on this game, but sometimes they are like just a little confused. All right, I'm gonna have to go look at the chair simulator now. I am after the stream. There's gonna be a 100 episode Let's Play for Chair Simulator coming to the channel soon. Oh boy. I expect you to watch every single episode of it. I don't think I could make... I wouldn't be able to make 100 episodes or something like that. Probably. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. You're spreading the cult now. Interesting about video games is that now everything's gamified, right? I mean, rewards points at a Starbucks, or, you know, even like sometimes people in like certain jobs and works, stuff like that, they like to gamify how to learn, you know, new skills for your job and things of that nature. Like everything has some sort of game element to it these days. Which is fine. It works. There's a reason. I mean, all games have ever really been is a way to reward you for a level of work that you've completed. You do something, you get rewarded. I mean, that's there's a reason for that. Hey Justin, how's it going? Yeah, if you want to watch the first Elmcreek series, you'll get to see me make a lot of mistakes, but hopefully learn a lot as well. And obviously there's several other series on there. This is I'm actually on my 9th series for Farming Simulator. Something like that. I've got a lot of series on the channel at this point in time. Some are better than others. I personally am not a fan of the French one. So if you watch the French grapes or whatever I called it, I'm personally not a fan of that one. So I would, if you had to skip one, I would skip that one personally. But I learned about the grapes. So you get to see me get frustrated with the grapes if you want. You just know because you and your friends like to give each other weird games on Steam. That's actually funny. There are some weird games on Steam. Some really weird games on Steam. All right, we're all fertilized up. We're all watered. We are waiting for the grass to grow. We're waiting for the sides to ferment. All these should be fermented by now, right? They are 33%. Okay. Yeah, I think we're ready to rock and roll here. Not much else to do. Pretty much waiting till January for the silage, right? Next max month says January here. Still got another 319,000 liters that's getting turned into silage as we speak. Cool, let's go. Still no forestry. Someday there will be forestry. I know there will be. I'm gonna suck it up someday. It will be I'm gonna have to put clown music to it, like circus music to it. It'll be a lot of, you know, dun 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 dun, dun things like that. Because it will be the equivalent of a clown car for me. But there will be forestry at some point, I'm sure. I know they had one of these for this, for Vermeer. I like this vulture tractor. Actually kind of nice. I mean, we can't afford it, so I should stop looking, but I like it. Once there's like a basement kid down the roller coaster. Oh, yes. That is true. What was I going to do? All right, so should be good on the grass. Still got another month before we can mow it all, but we're going to wait till the full harvest month. I'm assuming water is still good. It is for now. Yeah, I think we're good. To fast forward again. Get to January. Sell all our silage. Will it all be done in January? It should all be done in January. It might be partway through the day, but it will all be done in January. All right, so we're at 97%. Not bad. We'll fast forward a little bit today. Obviously, the grass stopped growing because it is winter. And yeah, let's check the price. It's going to take us a while to transport all this stuff, but we'll get it done. So 196 at the end on the dealer, which is a good price. So we definitely want to take it. But I guess... Oh, I was going to cut the grass and get the credit. We did not get credit. Oh, that's right. Even though I put the lime down, we didn't get a cut yet. So I can't cut it and get the credit for it. That's all right. It's still okay that we got the lime. It's a little unfortunate, and I don't really want to wait another month, so, because it will be dropping pretty fast in February. No worries. I thought we'd get one more cut before January, but we didn't. That's okay. I should have done the math in my head better. But we'll need the lime at some point, so it's not like it's a wasted thing. It's just maybe a little bit out of order. I guess I'll fast forward just so I don't accidentally pick up non-silage pieces. I was going to take the ones that are already silage, but I think I'll just fast forward a little bit to get everything in line. All right, so we now got silage. Let's check our stock to see if we've got silage everywhere. Still got a lot of grass. Probably over here. Yep. There we go. Cool. We're all silage. 963,000 liters. Should be worth just shy of 200,000 bucks. If we had our precision farming maxed out, it would be worth 200,000 bucks. So that's unfortunate, but it's okay. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could like wait another year or something, but I don't think that's what we want to do. I think we want to just keep things moving. Still the animal dealer? Yep, still the animal dealer. Go. Let's go. Very heavy trailer load. 99,000 liters. Couldn't put one more on there and make it 100. Well, I guess it wouldn't be what, 2 more to get to 100? So it'll be what, 10 trips about? Something like that? Like, what is Farming Simulator on mobile like? I suppose one day I should just try it out just as a video for the channel. Just to try it out. I've got to, right? Because I have a cell phone / tablet emulator on my computer. But I don't know. I don't know what Farming Simulator on a tablet or a cell phone would be like. Oh, this tractor is struggling. This weight is a little bit much for this poor little tractor. It has served us well, but it is It is just barely getting up to speed here. It'll take us 30 minutes just to get all these bales dropped off, if not more. Tried it on iPad out of curiosity. It feels very stripped down and arcade-like. Okay, that makes sense. Plus, the controls for anything but driving are a nightmare if you're used to the... Yeah, that would make sense as well. That would make sense. I bet Farming Simulator on my Steam Deck is probably pretty good, though, right? I would imagine that's probably all right. Because I'm used to playing with the controller anyway, so I would imagine for most of it, it's probably all right. Especially since it is the full PC version of the game, I think, right? I was very impressed with the Steam Deck. If you haven't tried it out, I thought it was better than I ever expected it to be, quite frankly. Guess I dropped these off. I kind of did this badly, so just ignore what I'm doing right now. I'm just shoving it backwards. I guess I'll drop these off to the right. Unload to the right. There we go. Oh, that environmental score is so low. It's all right. It's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there. Our eggs will sell for pretty high value because we'll have our sorghum fields will be pretty decked out. The one thing I will say about Farming Simulator Let's Plays, compared to, for example, Civilization or, you know, anything like that, is that it's hard to know when to end. You know? Where's the stopping point? Now, my Zalanka save, I think I've got a good stopping point. I have a story, I have a plan. And I think that's probably my big thing, is I need to have a good story. And what is the goal of this? What is the story? And then that's kind of where you end things at. But it is nice to play games that literally have an end, right? You beat the game. You're done. Yeah, 3 work on because it's SteamOS. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it would be legit. And like I said, that Steam Deck is plenty powerful enough. I did play a little bit of Assassin's Creed on it, and it worked just fine. So I would have to imagine if it can play Assassin's Creed, it can play Farming Simulator. I mean, Farming Simulator has its own bulkiness in certain ways that maybe even Assassin's Creed doesn't deal with. Assassin's Creed's obviously got the graphics, but Farming Simulator's got the just the data, right? It's got to keep up with the fact that I've got 100 bales of silage over there and things like that. A lot of information in Farming Simulator that you don't normally see in other games. Stop when you become a millionaire. That's actually a pretty good goal, honestly. Although I will say, maybe not a single millionaire, because a single millionaire, I mean, there's a lot of equipment that costs almost $1 million. You'd have to be a millionaire just to buy some of the stuff. But maybe like 10 million bucks, something like that. Although that might still be too much. I don't know. I'd have to figure out kind of a good balance. I think 1 million is too small, and I think 10 million might be too much. Maybe 5 million, then middle ground. Something like that. Ah, 200 bales present. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like I said, you wouldn't think that that tiny little bale sitting right there on my tractor would be much, right? But I have 100 right now, right? We have basically 100. And so you're saying I can only have one more set of those and then I'm done on console? That's interesting. That's an interesting limitation. And to think that that is taking up enough memory that they have to have that limitation is a bit fascinating to me. You just wouldn't think about that normally being that expensive of a thing, but it is an entity. every single bale is effectively an individual vehicle. If you go look at the XML files on the computer, every single bale is its own separate vehicle entry with its own, you know, lifespan and data and everything else included. So it is, it does start to make sense when you think of it that from that perspective. That makes sense too. Yeah, if they're in the shed storage and physics aren't calculated, that makes perfect sense as well. Yep. Because probably what happens is they remove them from the vehicle list, and I'm assuming the vehicle list is what's got physics attached to it. They remove them from the vehicle list and add it to like the storage list, and therefore it's just a count as opposed to an actual. And of course, I guess in the storage they're probably locked in place. I would assume, even though they're visually represented, they're probably just since they're obviously not moving. They're you don't have to worry about it from that perspective. That would make sense as well. Two down, 8 to go. I don't think I've ever used shed storage for my bales. Maybe I should, but I got a bad habit about not using buildings at all because, I mean, at the end of the day, buildings are just cosmetic for the most part. So it's just like, I never find the justification to have enough money to get a building, even though I think buildings are awesome. I love buildings. Now, when I do my multiplayer map, we always have buildings because it's just fun to kind of play around with it at that point. And we're always making so much more money with two of us. But by myself, it always just feels like, yeah, I could go buy that building, or I could just buy a new tractor. I mean, I don't even sleep in a house, as you guys know. It's just, you know, whatever. I like sleeping outside, okay? Or maybe I sleep in the barn. That's probably where I sleep. That would make more sense. No, I agree. I actually think it is satisfying to have a home for everything. It's just, it's hard to justify the cost when I'm like, I need to, you know, get that next field or get the next, you know, item or, you know, that new harvester that's going to make things faster. Hopefully, though, with this map, because we will not be in debt, that's the goal. I think the money will be much more efficient anyway. Need a way to fast forward this. This poor little tractor. It's kind of slow. That vulture, what goes 31? That's 50% faster right there. That vulture right there is 50% faster than this tractor. How much is my tractor worth right now? A whole 15,000 bucks. Woo! As much as I would love to get the Vultra, we need to wait. I need to get the chickens ready. And the chickens are going to be... Well, the chickens actually aren't that expensive, right? We already checked that. They are... So I'm just going to go with this one, I think. These are from one of the mod... Oh, these are from the premium expansion. That's right. But I'm going to go with this one. And that's only 79,000 bucks. It's not bad. So for under 100,000 bucks, we'll have our chickens. Well, the chickens themselves will be ready to go. Obviously, we still need to get a harvester and a seeder and all that kind of stuff. So there is that aspect, I suppose. Glad this tractor or this trailer holds more than I realized before, because I would hate doing this 10 at a time. I actually think this stockyard's pretty cool, but I do wish that there were actual cows or other animals like visible in the stockyard. I think that would be nicer. That's why long-term map playthroughs are a whole new different art of fun. You start playing and experimenting with things that you otherwise never touched. Yeah, that's true. Due to the cost, 100% true. The cost can sometimes be prohibitive. I mean, I could play with normal economy instead of the hard mode economy, I suppose, and that would obviously make things way easier. But I don't know. Nothing wrong with the normal economy, to be fair. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess all the normal economy is just it's like a fast forward button. It's not like you're not doing the same things. You're doing literally the exact same things. You just get to the bigger equipment a little bit faster, right? Because things are worth more. So many bales. It's awesome, but also like, oof, that's a lot of bales. One, two, three, four more trips with the round bales, and then 2 trips with the squares. So 6 more trips total. That is true as well. It does not affect the animal prices. So it does skew things a bit in that context. Selling animals is, I guess, more worthwhile on a hard mode map than it is on a normal mode map, because normal, your crops sell for more than the animals would sell for, but hard, because your crops sell for so much little less, then the animals are a little bit worth more compared to the crops. If you're selling animals. Now, obviously, if you're just getting milk or whatever, then that's different. Well, we knew the silage transport would take a while, but here we are. I think we'll get it done in the next 19 minutes, and we'll still have an hour left to zip through time and get a couple more things done. Will we have enough money to get everything set up? Let me look here in a second. So obviously the harvester, we don't have to get a super expensive harvester because our fields aren't that big. We do need a seeder. It doesn't have to be super big for that either. Again, fields aren't that big. We'll need well, the harvester or the seeder could have the cultivator built into it. That might affect the price, but we can take a look at that. We've already got fertilizer. We already got lime. We already got herbicide covered. We already got a trailer that can hold the grain. I think it's just the harvester and the seeder, right? I'm trying to think if am I missing something. I don't think so. Drive over here for a minute. I'm just going to look it up. Just kind of get the numbers in my head. So like I said, basic harvester, probably like the Rostel mash would be fine. Something like that. Or probably not this New Holland. That's probably a little smaller than I feel like we need. Maybe even the Kloss would be okay. Actually, that's probably, I mean, I've used this one quite a bit. Probably fine. So that's 70,000 bucks. And then obviously we got to get the header, which, 25,000 bucks looks like. Or less for the Kloss. Something like that. So we're talking $75,000 to $100,000, depending on which one we go with. And we need $100,000 for the chickens. Oh, we're going to be tight. We are going to be tight. It is going to be close. Oof. Normally I like to go with like this seeder because it does the cultivating for us. That one do cultivating? Is that what that's saying? No. It says a cultivator prepares the field, but I don't think that... Maybe am I misreading that? My brain is not reading that correctly. This one says, no previous cultivating or plowing necessary. This one says, hey, by the way, a cultivator prepares the field for the next sowing. Like, that's more informative than telling me that that's what that is. I don't know about that one. I'll poke around with it. We might be just short of the money that we need. I'm trying to do the math in my head, but I feel like we're just under what we're going to need. I mean, I guess we don't have to do the chickens right away. We're not going to have the crop for the chickens yet anyway. So we will have enough money to get the stuff for the sorghum. But we might not have enough money to get the stuff to get the chickens as well. Oh, you can decouple them. That's right. I knew there were some that do that. Okay, you're right. That makes more sense. So it actually is a cultivator, but it also has the seeder attached to it. Perfect. That makes much more sense. Oh. What? Oh, did I wiggle? I wiggled. Okay. I was like, why am I not getting one more bell? And I think I moved just enough that one of the bells got crooked. So that one wouldn't be bad either, I guess. Just anything like that would be fine. And we will have more grass silage coming. I mean, we won't have it before I wanted to do chickens, but I guess we could delay the chickens a little bit until we get another load of silage sold. That's a possibility. Guess one thing I got to take into account is we got to get a seeder that my tractor can actually use. Which most of these should be small enough that the tractor can run it. I'm really disappointed about the lime. I don't know why my brain was thinking that I could get it done in time, but obviously we were just a month away from winter, so that would never have happened. The horse is the cheapest drag drill? Is it really? Does this one not count as... Does this one not count for that? I feel like I've used this one before for that type of thing. And obviously that one's only 48. I really feel like I've used this for the... Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn I've used this for the tillage score before. Horse. There's a couple new ones in here that I haven't really seen much of. Unia one. Problem with these though, they're cheap, but they're kind of long, so they're kind of hard to maneuver around our tiny fields. There's the horse ones. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, because that's a mod. This is a Pottinger mod or whatever. Oh, oops, I'm in the ditch. No, this is bad. I'm going to be stuck here, aren't I? This poor tractor. I forgot this ditch existed. Oh, somehow I think we're going to make it. We made it. Oh, I think we're halfway there. I feel like that deserves a song, but I am not about to start singing. Although I am singing in my head. Expand your fleet. Is that referencing? Oh, the Oxbow pack. Such a peculiar looking little tractor with one giant wheel on the front. It's kind of strange looking. Is that under like miscellaneous or something like that? No. Remember what that's under. I mean, there's an Oxbow grape thing. What's a slurry tanker? Thank you. Slurry. Oh, yeah, I see it now. I see the other ones. I mean, is there a reason? It's just got one giant wheel on the front. Like, what's the functional benefit of that? Like, I don't know if I I don't know if I understand the benefit. I'm sure there is one. I'm just not personally understanding it. We may have to try to do the train in a moment because I think we're going to have 4 round bells left over, which means I'm going to want to take those on the other trailer so I don't have to make an extra trip. Which I guess if I was going to do the train, I could have done that the whole time, but I wasn't quite sure if the tractor would pull the train. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I guess if you got a single wheel on the front, positioned just like that, you would be able to turn a much sharper corner. That would make a lot more sense. This poor tractor's already got 32 hours on it. We got this one used, right? I think we got this one used. We haven't done 32 hours of this Let's Play, or this live stream, right? No. This is only part number 8, so we've only done... Well, we've done 24 hours, I guess, at the end of this stream. Done a full day of live streaming. Almost there. There should be a feature where I could try out a piece of equipment just to see what it does without having to lease it. I just want to drive some of them around. Just have fun. Guess that's what contracts are for, but still. Not all the vehicles show up in the contracts. I have to get some sort of grain silo or something because I really don't want to have to travel all the way to the train station just to drop off my grain and store it. Hey. My fatigue is catching up with me. I'm starting to yawn. You think this is Football Manager or something? I have a holiday starting in 2 days. I'm ready. Ready for my Christmas break. All right, let me grab that other trailer because I just want to take this load of bales all at once, if at all possible. If the tractor can do it. And if it can, I'll realize that I probably should have done this from the beginning. Although I don't know if it would have saved us that much. Might have saved us one trip. This poor tractor. Its tires are gonna fall off halfway there. Just got to get through 6 hours. There you go. Well, good luck. Hopefully it all works out. Oh, I have 2 more bales than I realized. I miscounted. Because this trailer only holds 4? Or does this one hold 6? Suddenly don't remember. Yep. Okay. We got more than that. Well, I guess we can run it with the square bales over there then. We'll make it work. All right. Cool. Well, let's go. Come on, tractor. You can do it. You can do it. It's actually pulling it better than I expected. I'm pleasantly surprised. Do we have Christmas markets in America? Not under the context of what you're saying, if I understand what you're saying correctly. Because I have seen those in like, well, I've seen them in movies, to be fair, which you gotta take movies with a grain of salt, but I'm sure if a movie's filming in a Christmas market in Germany or something like that, then it didn't just create a Christmas market out of nowhere. It's probably filming a legitimate Christmas market. So no, we don't have those types of things. But I'm sure they exist somewhere. That's the thing about America, obviously, is that it is so big with so many diverse places that somewhere is a Christmas market, because there's like either a German population or who knows what kind of population there that might do that kind of thing. So I can almost guarantee you there does exist one somewhere, but it is not a common thing, I would imagine. We've got Walmart. that's I mean, we have big box superstores is what we've got. We don't have a lot of the, because like a Christmas market, from what you're saying, is like it's almost like a craft market, right? Like with lots of different Christmassy type things that's like people can come out and just sell like in their own little booths and things like that. We have that type of concept, but not the same way, if that's what I'm thinking of. Like those things do exist. It's just they're not very common in that, not the way they are in Europe, I would imagine, or in specifically Germany. Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, I watched a movie the other day about Austria, and they had a Christmas market there because it was a Christmas movie set in Austria. So I did not realize that the bales, I didn't realize each trailer had its own drop-off side. All right, I'll have to come by and pick that up here in a second. Or I could just scooch them into the drop-off here in a moment. Because I'm assuming this one in the back is still dropping off to the right. Yeah, it is. All right, well, let me just get this out of the way. And then I'll just push them over the line. When in doubt. Oh, Wait a minute. One just got pushed by itself. There we go. Whatever. It works. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I said, there's going to be some places that have them. But that's... It's got to be inevitable that some places have them for sure. But it's just not a... it doesn't have the same... Unless you live in one of those towns like that has it. I just don't think it's going to be the same feel as one of the ones that you would see in Germany or something like that. I mean, to put it another way, and maybe this is maybe a bad example, or maybe not quite the correct example, do we have places in America that do Oktoberfest? Of course we do. I mean, why wouldn't we? But it's not... There's only one place to have Oktoberfest. Like, you go to Germany for Oktoberfest, right? Like, you're going to go to Germany for any sort of beer festival like that. You could see a copy of it in America, but I don't think it's going to be quite the same. Yeah, it's German thing. Yeah, that makes sense too, for sure. Obviously, we have German people in America that repeat those traditions here, and that makes sense perfectly, right? That's what I'm saying. That's the crazy thing about the United States is that we have so many diverse cultures that you could see anything that exists anywhere else in the world. There's a copy of it somewhere in America at some point in time. I can almost guarantee it. Which is cool. I think that's awesome. Now, I will admit that a lot of our copycat type festivals or things like that are probably very Americanized in a lot of ways, which is, I guess, unfortunate. I mean, that might give you a little bit of a flavor, a little bit of taste of what it would be like in Germany, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the real deal unless you go actually to Germany or wherever the country is that you're, talking about. Like, I'm sure we have Chinese New Year festivals here. Are the Chinese New Year festivals here going to be anything like anything in China? Probably not. Are they going to be, sure we've got, insert any other country type of festival here. And we have things that just aren't, they're not going to look the same because they're a little bit of an American flavor added to them. Which is normal, I suppose. Oh, so that's pretty cool. Have an ice rink and everything for people to skate. Yeah, that's awesome. I personally am a big fan of like smaller town like feels and things like that. Like that whole where you can just kind of go do kind of fun stuff like that. But we have a lot of, I mean, in the United States, obviously everything is so spread out. Everything is just, really? Did you really just mess that up? I think we're still okay I'm not going to fix it, but I was just sitting still. I don't know why it just messed that up. But everything's, like I said, so spread out. So it's just kind of we don't have, I mean, there's individual pockets of small towns that have a small town feel, but it just doesn't, I don't know. It just feels different than what you would have over in Europe or something like that. Not that it's bad. It's just different. maybe the best way to put it is that if you want to get anywhere significant in the United States, you've got to drive, be willing to drive for, you know, a few hours. You know, if I want to get to the next city over, I've got to drive for a couple hours. If I want to go back and see my family, I'm driving for 20 hours or something crazy like that. Whereas over in Europe, it's a lot more, I mean, I don't know, half the time it feels like you don't even need a car. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that use cars, obviously, but it feels like there's a lot more ability to just, I don't know, just live your life and not have to worry about, I mean, traveling far distances. If you travel as far as I travel to go see my family back in Texas, you're in another country in Europe, which is crazy to think about. You're in a whole nother culture. Public consumption of alcohol. I mean, we have a few places that allow public consumption of alcohol. I mean, I've been to New Orleans. New Orleans allows public consumption of alcohol, which again, is, to your point, is a bit of a culture shock. It's like, really? I can walk around and carry this thing? Drive for 6 hours in USA, you're still in Texas. Drive for 6 hours in Europe, you went through 3. Yes. Yes, 100%. 100%. That's true. The funny thing is that the 6 hours that you drove through in Europe, you probably passed more people than the 6 hours in Texas, because half of Texas is in the middle of nowhere. You might pass a few cows in Texas, but you're not passing a lot of people unless you're going through the big cities. How's it blocked? Is it because of the other trailer? No. All right, well, let me do it in a second. How are you blocked? What am I... What is blocked? Maybe I need to disconnect the trailers. Maybe there's something goofy with how the trailers are connected here. Let me get you off to the side here. Really? There is nothing blocking the unloading area. I'm so confused. Okay. That worked. No speed limit on highway. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big shock, I suppose. Although I will say, again, referencing Texas, I mean, we got a lot of back ranch road, country road, whatever roads that have like 85 mile or, you know, 80, 85 mile an hour speed limit, something crazy like that. And then everybody goes 10 over anyway. So it's very common to be going 100 miles an hour easy. And a lot of those middle of the nowhere highways in Texas, that's for sure. I mean, you still probably get pulled over at some point, but your chances of seeing a police officer are microscopic. Okay, it's got to just be the building here, right? The door and stuff. Let me turn around and come up from a different angle. But obviously, there's nothing like the Autobahn. Now, when I was in Germany, I did not go on the Autobahn. Because obviously, like I said, I stuck to trains and stuff. Although apparently there is a maximum speed limit on the Autobahn, even though there's not a maximum speed limit on the Autobahn. Really, dude, stop it! Why are you getting blocked? I don't understand. I mean... I've been pretty fast like that as well. It's just difference is it wasn't as legal for me for it to go that fast as it was for you. In my younger days, in my my Ford Mustang, I might have seen how fast that thing could go on a highway once or twice. This is really annoying. Why? Like, I can try to put it back on the trailer, but it's just not letting me drop it off here. And the bales are too heavy to push. Can you please drop off now? Let me... Alright, seriously. You've got fully open space. How are you blocked? There's nothing in the way. There's literally nothing there. How is this blocked? I don't understand. These square bells are not happy. But it worked a second ago. It's like it doesn't want to put it on the on that square at all. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna have to get annoyingly creative here, which is it's fine. We won't be doing square bells again anyway. Oh, behind me? Those are not models. Those are, most of them are poppets. Or, what are they called? Yeah, not poppets, but the pop, characters for like, Star Wars or Marvel. I used to subscribe to a package from Amazon that would just send, every month they would get a couple little pop characters from Star Wars or Marvel. And, so that's what most of those things are. I do have some Legos back there. I do have a lot of Legos. So I do, I guess, at least build Legos. That's true. Oh my goodness, what is going on with this thing? Why does it not like this drop-off location? Yeah, these square bells they're not happy at all. Well, now we learned something. Don't use the square bells. Let me just pop them over here. Hopefully smaller ones I can push in. Or not. Go, 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 go. Come on. This isn't annoying at all. I like how turning the wheel of the tires pushes them more than the tractor can push under its own power. That's a little funny. Alright, this is annoying, but we gotta get it done. It's gotta be the auto load mod, right? Something's buggy with it, with the square bells. Because the round ones went in just fine. No biggie. We'll get it done. Yeah, the reason I know that there's a max speed that if you drive above that and take part in change switch direction, you have ability, but even if not at fault. Yeah. Because I watched the video of a guy in a, what was he driving? He was driving the, oh, what was it called? I know the name of it. It was the car. My brain is suddenly forgetting what it's called, though. It's gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me that I can't think of the name of the car. But anyway, he was driving one of the really fast cars that, you know, like one of the fastest, you know, production vehicles you can get. And he wanted to see how fast he can get it. And so he was driving stupidly fast and got in some big trouble for it. Partly because he was putting it on YouTube. I don't know why I can't remember the name of the vehicle. It's very cool. Yeah, thank you, Bugatti Veyron. Thank you. My goodness, my brain was just like, what? Why are you not remembering the name of the vehicle? Yeah, he was driving the Bugatti Veyron, and obviously he went really fast. He got in trouble. Because obviously at some point you're just endangering other people, right? It's not about, you know, the no speed limit. You're just being a danger to other people and to yourself, quite frankly, at that speed. I mean, they did have a spotter vehicle to kind of help him out, you know, making sure he wasn't like in the wrong lane and things like that. But without being more official, like if they had actually closed down the Autobahn and let him go as fast as he wanted to go, that would have been a different thing. But he just did it kind of his own free will. So they did not like it. They was not happy. Oh goodness, sorry, we're almost done here. I cannot believe these square bells will not just drop off in the drop-off spot. Ooh, whale. Got one more load of square bells and then we is done. if I could take it to the right-hand side here and get it at least close to the line. No, just really, even this is too close. What? It's so weird. It just doesn't like the drop-off at all. There we go. See, that worked. That's just right outside the line. All right, we got that load done. One more to go. This ended up being way more painful than it should have been. We're going to be barely done with bales by the time the stream's over. That's all right. Had to get done at some point. And the next time we do bales, it will not be as many. So it won't be as bad. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, straight road, great visibility. That makes perfect sense. I mean, if I really wanted to go super fast, I could legally do it at a drag strip or a racetrack around here. There's plenty of racetracks that'll let you just bring, you know, whatever car you have on certain track days, which I think they have track days over in Europe too, obviously. So, you know, you can just do whatever you want. So that's an opportunity to just drive fast legally. Like, doesn't the Nürburgring, I'm going to say that wrong, doesn't that have track days and stuff like that where you can just kind of come drive, you know, whatever? Game? Okay. Alright, good. Oh no, we didn't get them all. Am I gonna have to like drive under that one to get that one? That's kind of funny. That's cool that they have track days a lot. That's awesome. That would be fun. I would love to. I mean, obviously I don't live in Europe, and even if I did live in Europe, there's no guarantee I'd be able to bring... Are you serious? Oh my goodness, we are having so much trouble with this today. That bale is going to live there now. That's there. That is our mascot. Our new mascot is the floating bale of whatever. I'm suspecting that when I reload the game, the physics will recalculate and that'll be on the ground next time, which is fine. Yeah, I would love to go around the Nürburgring. That would be like a life dream, I think, or something like that. Just some cool track like that, but that one looks pretty fun. I know that the Circuit of the Americas, the track there in Austin, the Formula One track there in Austin, I know they have track days, which I wanted to go to. Me and a buddy, we were going to take our cars there one time, and it just didn't work out. But that'd be a decent one too. You know, just any Formula One track like that, you can kind of drive around would be cool. The No, that's true. Yeah. That's actually, you know what? I'll have to remember. I'm gonna remember to see if I can park the tractor and see if it'll just be on top of the roof of the tractor when we come back next time. That would be kind of funny. Or just have the trailer under it. It just lands in the trailer. All right, we're good to go. All right, the bale trips took way longer than I expected, but they are done. We got a lot of good money. Still got time to get to planting our sorghum at least. I don't know if we'll have quite enough time to harvest, but we might. I need to figure out the math on the chickens again. I forget how much they eat. I'm sure I have it in my notebook somewhere, how much they eat per year. All right, got all that done. Good stuff. I was watching what's it called? Gran Turismo, the movie. It's loosely based on a true story about, you know, a kid that was a Gran Turismo simulation player and obviously got invited to be part of an actual, you know, race car academy and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want to spoil anything in the story, but it was just kind of cool. Kind of watching that. Kind of interesting, the concept of taking somebody who's good at video games and putting them behind a wheel of a very fast, very expensive car and seeing what they can do. What's my goal on this map? My goal on this map is to make cakes. We're going to get to the point where we can make some cake. Now, I don't know how much further past the cake making we'll go, but we're going to make some cakes. Plowing, seeding, planting 10 acres each of barley and sunflowers. That's actually a lot of acreage. Like, what do we have? We have what, like 3 acres or something like that? 3 or 4 acres? We don't have that much, do we? Forget how much we have here. Farm. Doesn't it tell me the farmland usually? Oh, it's up at the top. Yeah, we've only got like 0.86. And we've only got like not even 3 maybe. We don't have that many acreage. So yeah, 10 each. That's a lot. All right. Well, we're done with that. Let's get our train broken apart again. And we're ready to fast forward. Water doing okay? Water is okay. Wait a minute. Why is that one losing it quicker than the other two? Seems a little strange. I don't know if I understand. Alrighty, let's fast forward, question mark. Yeah, I thought those were pretty well made. I thought, yeah, there were some parts. And obviously, again, I'm not spoiling anything, but they do race around the Nürburgring at one point. So that was cool to see that in the movie. I mean, you know what? You know what that movie inspires me to be? Maybe someday I could be an actual farmer, you know? Maybe there's a farming academy and I can prove that I know how to drive a track. I don't think that's the same. I don't think that's in the same world. Oh goodness. I'm sorry. I'm funny. What was I going to do? My brain just shut off. It literally just shut off. All right, we're still in the snow, so we gotta wait a little bit longer before we can harvest the rest of the grass. So I guess we just fast forward again. I can be a cake maker. That's true. Actually, my brother-in-law is a baker, a cake maker. He's actually very good at making cakes. I need to play the game developer or game design video game where you make a game design studio so that someday I could be a game designer. I still hate that the pH didn't work over here. I don't know what happened. Really don't know what happened. So we got one more month to harvest this, and then we got one more month, or is this the month we want to plant? I'm always forgetting. We got one more month to plant, so we should be able to mow the grass and plant the sorghum next month. Cool. Still good on water. Momentarily still good on water. They've given managerial up. Have they really? Given managerial up to FM players? That's interesting. I mean, I'm assuming for like smaller, like really small clubs. I mean, the good thing about like, especially like England, of course, there are so many tiers that, yeah, it would make sense that somebody who plays FM football manager could become a actual football manager of a lower tier team. It's easy to become a farmer. Step one, have at least 1 million to invest. That's sad, but true, actually. Farm is expensive right now. It is really expensive. It feels like it gets more expensive every year. All right, let's go grab our mower. Get our field mowed. Then we're going to have to get it cultivated and ready for our sorghum. Start with this field down here because this will be our sorghum field. You know what? What I should really do is see if there's any job applications for, being a, dictator of the world or something like that. Because I mean, I play Civilization at a pretty high level, I think. So maybe there's like a dictator job opening somewhere. I promise I'd be totally pacifist, though. Promise. What have I learned from Civilization? Just destroy the environment and then get on a spaceship to a far off place and it's not your problem anymore. That sounds like the way to rule the world to me. Really, dude? Really? I gave you one chance to like prove that you know what you're doing here and you just don't know what you're doing here. Let's get this a little bit cleaned up over here. I think they usually get confused by the angle bit there. Now, I do know that there was a period of time where the United States Army used a first-person shooter game, literally called America's Army, I think it was, to help facilitate recruitment into the United States Army. So they wanted people to kind of go through the motions of a first-person shooter to kind of build up their recruitment a bit, which is a little bit fascinating if you think about it, but maybe, I don't know how well it worked. I'd be interested to see those numbers, but It's kind of an interesting concept. I'm sorry. Oh, I love it. Yes. I think plenty of farmers will hire me as AI worker H. I think you're right. I love it. Oh, yeah. I mean, I could show them examples of how AI worker H performs. I promise to perform at least that good. I'll be, driving into ditches and, running off, being confused, driving in circles sometimes, whatever. Yeah, America's Army was not a bad game by any stretch. I mean, it had good graphics, and I mean, it was an interesting game. It's just an interesting concept, really. Here we are talking about using video games to prove that you're good enough to do something in real life, and under most circumstances, a first-person shooter is not going to be that's kind of excluded from that. But in this particular context, it actually was relevant. I mean, that's why I play Payday, right? Not Payday. Is it Payday? Right? Payday's the where you're a criminal. Yeah, I play Payday so I can be a criminal someday. The Army actually has an esports team now, like esports for like things like Call of Duty and stuff like that. Is that what you're referring to? Because that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. Now obviously, like flight simulators and stuff like that are like the whole simulation games. The whole reason it's called a simulation is that it's supposed to simulate real life, right? And so plenty of racing games, flight simulator games, farming games can simulate an aspect of real life. And if, like, for example, if I had like a full setup with a steering wheel and I only ever played this game from this perspective, I mean, there's a level of simulation here that is pretty good. Although I will say this game is probably less about tractor simulator and more about the actual farming aspect of it. So that kind of breaks off a little bit. Whereas like racing games, like obviously we talked about Gran Turismo and of course Flight Simulator. I mean, you can, with the one exception of the actual feel of the physics of the action of what you're doing, you can learn how to drive, or fly or anything like that with those types of simulation games, right? I mean, a guy that plays Gran Turismo all the time, is he going to know what it feels like to have the G-forces on his body from a race car? Of course not. But once he gets past that part, he'll know the track. He's played the track, he's probably simulated any track thousands of times, so he's going to know the tracks that he's on. He just needs to learn the actual physical part. Same thing with a flyer, someone who's flying an airplane. I mean, there's obviously a level of the actual feel of taking off and landing, but how to actually run the instrument panels and stuff like that, you can definitely learn from a simulator. I like the idea of video games that have some level of consequence, because I think that's something that a lot of younger kids, even my own children, I want to kind of keep an eye on them, that they have trouble learning, now, is that there is an element of consequence to decisions. It's very easy to log into a video game, stay anonymous, do whatever you want to do, be a complete nuisance to a community, and then not care because you're anonymous. And I think the idea of consequence is something that is a little bit missing. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, race drivers also practice the whole chair and wheels. Yeah, that makes sense. That they would, for sure. I mean, the old movie Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks, right? I mean, it wasn't a video game, but it was a simulator, right? That they would get in to simulate the takeoff or the procedures that they would do on the spaceship. So obviously, I know that they do that kind of stuff as well in real life. You know, it's a whole act of. I mean, it's essentially a video game. It's a realistic. I mean, it's a you know, it's a simulation. You know, so it kind of becomes a video game at some point because you can reset and restart and add extra things, extra elements to it. What was it? Ender's Game? I think there was a... I don't know if the movie... I mean, I've never read the books. I've only watched the movie. And obviously, I think the movie was not near as good as the books from what I heard. But at the end of the day, it at least got me the story of what, you know, he thinks he's playing a video game when he's not, you know? And I know that's a fantasy movie, but my point being that the idea of simulation and video games affecting, you know, kind of helping you with real life is very... It makes sense. It's very, very logical. At least getting credit for our lime and stuff now, finally. We are getting a little credit. Not a lot, though. Man. Yeah, these up here that messed up. Oh, I haven't mowed these yet. I was like, what? How do we have 0 credit for lime up here? I haven't mowed them yet.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I need to read the book series. I've heard the book series is really good, and that unfortunately the movie just didn't quite do the books justice in that particular case. I mean, not knowing the books at all, I thought the movie was okay. But I can definitely understand if you enjoyed the books, that it would ruin it for you. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I need to read more. I got to get back into reading again. I used to read all the time, and I just haven't yet. I mean, I used to read a lot of obviously your whole oh my goodness. Guy's name. Give me a second. I'm having a bad memory today, guys. I'm sorry. Tom Clancy. My goodness, why can't I remember Tom Clancy? I've obviously read a few of his books and stuff like that. So I definitely I like reading lots of books personally. I don't ever find the time anymore. It's almost like I'm playing video games too much. I can't exactly record YouTube episodes of me reading a book, can I? So if I'm going to get my entertainment fun, I might as well record it in the video game. That's kind of how I look at it. Sadly, YouTube has ruined... Not really. Don't take this too seriously, but YouTube has ruined my enjoyment of video games. And what I mean by that is, I can't play a video game without recording an episode for it. Because if I sit down and I play a video game and something interesting happens, I'm gonna feel so bad. I'm like, oh man, I could have put that on video. That would have been so awesome. I remember I did an episode, or not an episode, but I did a playthrough of not on video. I wasn't recording it, but I did a playthrough of Kerbal Space Simulator one time, and I had the things that went on in that run were the funniest things in the world. And I'm like, man, I so wish I had this recorded for YouTube because it was the most hilarious things in the world. It was great. It was great. I got my Kerbal stranded out in orbit, and he ran out of fuel, but I was able to get out and use his jetpack had just enough oomph. I waited till we got to the highest arc of the orbit away from Kerbal, and I was able to just push just enough so that the lowest arc got back into the atmosphere. And so he survived, but it was the dumbest thing in the world. It was so funny. Record audiobooks instead. I mean, you have to have a very good pronunciation, and I don't think I speak too fast. I know I speak too fast. I could probably slow down and actually enunciate and pronounce better, you know, if I was reading a book for sure. But when I'm like stream of thought, my brain and my mouth, they go a million miles an hour. So I'd have to like really slow down and really kind of get into that enunciation and things like that. I do listen to some audiobooks. I do have that. You're right. So that's still a thing. But the thing with audiobooks, though, is that it's a little easier for me to get distracted. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What did I just... I just missed that part. And then I'm having to, like... It's a lot harder to turn back the page and like, oh, wait, I just need to reread that one chapter, that one paragraph again because I just missed something. Then, you know, in an audiobook than it is in an actual book, so... But yeah, audiobooks are cool. I do like audiobooks. They're nice. Especially for going on trips, road trips. I always bring an audiobook when I'm traveling back to Texas for 20 hours. That's plenty of time to get through a book. Let's do some math here. Yes. You joke. I can almost guarantee you that I've paused an audiobook to either look something up or do some math. I can promise you that's happened at least once in my life. I can't tell you why. It's probably some ridiculous reason. But knowing me, I have sat down and done some math about something. Like, I can promise you, I mean, there's a lot of notes. I have like a notebook that I keep by my computer, right? That, you know, for any of the video games, stuff like that I play, I can do certain things. But I have lots of math in here as well, where I've sat down and done some math for some this, that, or another. I mean, here's some math right here of how much it cost me to do each different type of contract, plowing, fertilizing, and how much the labor cost, how much the, you know, if I had to use fertilizing, how much the fertilizer cost, just to see which contracts were more worth it than others based on $1 per hour. Of course, then as soon as I got finished with all this math, I think I found a mod that just did all the calculation for me. So it was kind of like, well, that was pointless, but you know, it kept me interested for a while. I got so much stuff in this notebook for various video games. It's hilarious. Yeah, anyway. All right, we're done. And obviously I let the worker do that because I just kind of felt like taking a moment to just chill. All right, we got to get that windrowed. We got to get it silage. So we're not going to get to planting sorghum today, but first thing next episode, we probably will plant the sorghum. Next live stream. I mean, we are going to keep these other two fields grass for now, which is fine. That'll still supplement our income pretty nicely. But I'm really looking forward to getting the sorghum down and kind of keeping that process rolling. Got a good chunk of money, though. I'm happy with that. We are in a good place money-wise. That'll be enough to definitely get our chickens rolling. And then, you know, once the chickens are rolling pretty good, well, more than likely what we'll need to do is we'll need to buy this field to our right at some point. Because I think one field... I know the math's in my notebook somewhere of how much the chickens eat per year. And we'll have to look that up, and that way I know how much we have left over for, like, if we want to start doing flour or things, something like that to sell as well. I could be talking in my book recording voice, you know, where it's like all monotone and even killed and be like, all right, now, we're going to do some math. Let me pause the story here. I can't do that without laughing. Oh, goodness. I'm glad I find myself funny because, you know, I need to laugh sometimes. My dad, he never finished college, actually. But he has read more books than any person I know. And I'm not even talking about like fiction. He hates fiction. He reads nonfiction. He has read so many nonfiction books. He never finished college, but he's got to be one of the most educated people I know, which is kind of an interesting thing to think about, right? College has got its usefulness, but education, truth be told, college is probably not the best place to get education, quite frankly. Oh, cool. Thank you. That does sound right. That number you just told me does sound right to me. And which means that 360 chickens would be... My brain shut off. I know this math. I'm going to get my calculator out because my brain just shut off. 21,600. That sounds right. Per year. Of either, you know, of any grain, obviously. I think you said barley, but obviously it would work for sorghum. Now, the one thing about feeding chickens sorghum is that... No, sorghum is the best. I think sorghum's what I usually do. I think I have figured that out, haven't I? I know it's in here. While this guy's doing this, I'm going to find all my math. I think I was going the wrong direction. I just realized. I was like, wait a minute. That's not getting me in the right direction. It's funny. I got distracted because I have, I also write down, when I do Football Manager, I write down all my formations in Football Manager with all the players. And I'm like, oh man, I had a moment of like nostalgia as I was looking at this lineup and I'm like, oh wow, I remember this team. That was a good team. Oh, that's hilarious, actually. I don't know why. That's funny to me. Here's all my research for which crop is to do the best if you just want to min-max the most money. Got that on here. Here's my notes for that series, or that video. That's funny. I love it. I love it. Here's my math for how much the cakes cost. Flour, sugar, milk, eggs, butter, strawberries. I think I mathed it out to $2,353. That's funny as well. Yeah, it's 5. That makes sense. It's 5 liters in a grain. That would make sense. That makes sense. Yep, here we go. Exactly what I just said. Chickens, 21,600 liters per year. And then sorghum is, you get 6,570 liters per acre of sorghum. From based on this math, if I did this right, which means we don't have enough acreage. Surely this is wrong then. No, I think this is right. I think we need just over 3 acres of a field to feed our chickens every year. And we already talked about how this is about 1.3. We add this one in down here. Then when you reset that, I hit the wrong thing. If we add this one in down here, it's another 1.5. So that's close. Still not quite there. But these actually produce more. I just realized these produce a higher yield. So I think with these fields right here, I think that would feed our chickens for an entire year. Now, we don't have to do 360 chickens, to be fair. we could just do a smaller number of chickens based on how much grain we actually do get. So what we'll do is we'll probably harvest this field once, calculate how many chickens we can feed with that harvest once, and we'll just buy that many chickens instead. And that'll work for now. Yeah, here's all my notes from the first Elmcreek run. Chicken eats 5 liters per month. I have to think about that for a second. Yeah, I mean, I guess a real life chicken, 5 liters is not as much. I mean, that's not that much, actually, for an entire month. Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. I'm trying to compare it to my cats. I'm trying to think of how much how much food my cats eat a month. Because obviously my cats are about the size of a chicken. And they don't eat that. They don't eat a whole ton, to be honest. Yeah, it's interesting. I think they eat a little bit more, because obviously, I do think cats just generally eat more. I'm just chilling. I'm sorry if this is boring. I'm just chilling. Let this guy do his thing, live his best life. We'll take over here in a moment anyway, once we start doing the silage. I need a vacation. I'm looking forward to a vacation very soon. You recently did the math on bees and figured out that in-game they produce 2 to 3 times as much honey per year. The numbers per month are realistic, but in real life they're active for 4 to 5 months. Ah, yeah, that would make sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they shouldn't be active year-round in-game if they wanted to be realistic, but they are. Okay, that makes sense. That's pretty cool that you looked that up. That's awesome, and it's cool that it's that close, honestly. And it's all that's different is just that they're not factoring in the fact that they wouldn't produce year-round, which makes sense, obviously, because don't bees need flowers to produce year-round? And I don't think you have flowers year-round. Maybe some places do. Nowhere around here does. Where I live. We seem to be pretty white during the winter months. And the bees go to sleep. I actually have bees that pollinate my flowers in front of my house. I get to see them in the spring all the time. And I definitely don't see them in the winter. I think they do have it simulated where chickens in game, they don't do eggs at night, I think I read one somewhere. I don't know if I've ever actually taken the time to sit there and watch it happen, but I think I read somewhere that the chickens in game don't. They only produce eggs during the daytime or something like that. Or maybe I have it backwards. I can't remember exactly the details. But there was something where they don't produce at certain times. You still get X amount per year or per month or whatever, but if you're sitting there literally watching it hour by hour, there's certain hours they just don't spit out eggs. Dude, stop backing up, my friend. It's interesting that they simulate that grass doesn't grow during the winter months, but they didn't bother to change the bees. Although I will say bees do kind of feel like a little bit of an afterthought to some degree. I mean, it's not like there's that much complexity to a bee hive in a game like this. Just it exists, but I feel like there's a little bit there that could have been tuned up a little bit more. Make it a little bit more interesting. All right, let's get as much bailing done as we can, and then we'll finish up the next stream. Made a lot of money this stream, though. I mean, it was boring. I mean, maybe not that boring, but because we talked about a lot of stuff, which was fun. But visually, we didn't do a lot. Except transport a lot of Sally's bills. And I can't drive straight all of a sudden. Yeah, but I would imagine, I would think that another solution would just be to, what am I doing? Wrong spot. Another solution would be just to have enough honey in the few months that they produce to last you year round. I mean, could you just have more beehives? Have enough honey to fill it up year round. Your bees don't have to produce for you to have, I mean, think any crop that we have, we obviously get enough grain in the 1 month that we get grain to fill the cereal year round. So oh, we're parked under the floaty bell. Yes, the floaty bell. Oh, you gotta unfold. Always forget that part. I don't know why I even bother folding it. There's no reason to fold this thing. Oh, goodness. I think I'm going to sleep well tonight. All right, well, that is 10 o'clock my time. Let me just grab this next bell, and then we'll call it there. All right, well, if you are someone who has Christmas here in a few days or celebrate Christmas or anything like that, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, hopefully you at least have fun with your family, have a good time with your family, whatever the case. I don't think you have to have a holiday to enjoy time with family. So, hey, it actually already fell. Wonder what caused that. Interesting. Yeah, so happy holidays or you know, whatever. Insert whatever you feel like there. Hopefully you guys get some rest and whatever. Have a good... Actually, when will I see you guys again? The 27th. Okay, so we have one more stream before the new year. So it's not quite time to tell you guys have a happy new year, unless you miss next stream, I suppose. But yeah, definitely appreciate everybody who joined. Stormy, hopefully you aren't too tired for your class that you have to teach. I could be the first to confess that tired math I'm not very good at sometimes, so hopefully you're better at tired math than I am. But again, I appreciate everybody who's joined, who participated. If you're watching after the fact on the VOD, I appreciate you as well. And again, have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, insert whatever there, and I will see you guys next time. As soon as I remember how to turn the stream off.